What's up? Good morning. We're looking at Big Bar 17. We are 37 seconds out. Now, we'll see. Does this turn into a nice clean bull close? A big pullback with a wick? Or an outsized bar? We've got 25 seconds to find out. In the meantime, I have got to go get the copy trader engaged. And ready to rock, man. 17 seconds out. Come on, bulls. Don't pull that on back. Get nice and cocky. Pop it, pop it, pop it. Oh, look at that wick. All right, gotta hold off. Too big of a wick. Good morning, guys. How we doing? Good to see everybody. We are looking, of course, at NQ. This is a 5-minute chart. If needed, we will bounce around today, or I suppose if there's anything interesting. Saw a couple Ram traders were catching gold this morning. At least they said they were. All right, let's chill out on NQ here for a little while. Let's see what's up. Good morning. How we doing? Royal, good morning. Christian, how we doing, brother? Derek, good to see you. Kane, my man, what's up? All right, 18. Let's see what we get. Come on, 18. Mo, Brandon, what's up, guys? How we doing? All right, well, ATR here on NQ, by the way, we're sitting at 22. Which is not huge, but it's reasonable. We can deal with that. The full day's range is about 100 points. Which is all right, you know. I'm hoping in January we would get some more volatility. Get some November action back. All right, 245 out. Let's see what we get. Yeah, so I would, you know, let's see when this closes. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We might be a tad early for a stop hunt. Let's see what we end up with here. 220 out. Yeah, you know, I mean, listen, while we're waiting on 18 here, this is something that I think a lot of newer traders don't really understand because, and I know that because I didn't really get it. I didn't really internalize it, at least in the beginning. When you come into trading, you think it's going to end up like a 9-to-5, where you get a paycheck and it's the same every couple weeks. You come in, oh, if I could just make $1,000 a day, life would be great, right? That's what you think. Well, that's of course not what this is going to look like realistically. You want to be as consistent as possible, right? Which is why I encourage you to trade small and wide. If you're trading prop, trade small per account, scale horizontally. Okay. But when the market is really being nice to you, like in November, you got to try to make as much as you can, which means you always got to be ready. I think a lot of you guys are like, well, let me just take my time, I'll scale slowly. And then you run into the first kind of colder market and you're crying every day. Come on, man. November-like markets, and by the way, it gets better than November, man. November was like good. We haven't seen a ridiculous trend market, at least not really since I started streaming here. All right, I will get a stop limit buy ready here on 18 in case we get a pop. That's really wiki on 18. All right, 19, what you got? Maybe this will turn into a stop hunt after all. Question, how do you manage making as much as you can while also sticking with the 30% rule? You guys, people trip so hard over the 30% rule. If you're trading small per account, say 2 to 5 micros in a 50K, a mini or so in a 300K, etc. The 30% rule, man, like it doesn't, I mean, just straight up, like it's very rarely an issue for me. I'm not really thinking about it that much. Everybody's all tripping about the 30% rule. You know why? Because you're trading too damn big, because you have too much of an ego and you're cheap as hell. You're like, I'll just get 2 fundeds and then I'll make $400,000 a month. Come on, big dog. Scale it horizontally. The ROI is plenty, believe me. Or don't believe me, I don't really give a shit. But if you care to believe what I'm saying, I mean, come on, dude. Like, there's going to be some expenses. Like any other business. Are you 14? Like, I see people come in, they're like, I have $35. How do I make $1 million? It's like, Jesus. How did you make it to adulthood? Come on, 214 out. Bar 19, is this our golden child? Let's see. Let's see. Then maybe we'll pop around after this. Do you recommend trading small after you pass the eval or after you meet the trailing threshold? I'm not reckless in evals, but I mean, listen, I'm not interested. The evals, they're like $20 right now at Apex. It's 90% off. I don't care. Even when they're $40, even when they're $60. It doesn't matter. I mean, listen, it matters if you're like, well, I'm starting with like $1,000. It definitely matters. I get it. Like, we also live in the real world. But as far as trying to meet an ROI, once your wheels are sort of spinning, kind of a little bit, by the way, minute 5 out here on 19. If you're taking payouts, even just relatively consistently, the cost of the evals is like, you don't just want to, take 20 to pass 1, but I'll trade bigger in the evals. I'll take like, again, you guys know my grading is pretty strict. So, like, for me, I'll take, like, D+ setups and up. But once I'm in the funded, I pretty much trade the same size the whole time. Well, I vary it for volatility. But it's not like I'm trying to scale from 1 micro or 2 micros or 5 micros to, you know, the max, like 10 minis. When Apex dangles the, hey, you can trade 10 minis in a 50K, that's a marketing tactic. If you trade 10 minis in a 50K, you're psychotic. All right, 19. All right, here we go. Copy trader engaged. Let's see. Boom, place that guy there. Got to get over to the execution screen. I'm going to give that 30 seconds, man. I'm going to give it 30 seconds. ATR's 22. Come on, bulls. There we go. We will get a fill. Bring risk to where I need him. Right there. And let's see if we can break the wick high of 6 or a little stop hunt here. Now we really got to keep an eye on this because volatility is not tremendous. So stop hunts, you guys know, when the volatility is not great, the stop hunts are not as fantastic on average. So we got to let it break, see if it can, and then see how it reacts to the break. Ideally, we could get some volatility coming into the wick high of 6 because you know that there's a whole bunch of short seller stops right above the wick high of 6. We just got to get there. And that's what the bulls have been having trouble with lately. It's just getting there. Come on, bulls. Was because of you that I dropped to 5 micros on my 20 Apex fundeds. It's way less stressful than 1 or 2 minis. Oh yeah. Oh my god, yeah. If they're 50Ks especially. The 1 or 2 minis that I thought I was supposed to use because of the shit I see online. I don't know, dude. I mean, if I sat here and traded 50Ks and traded 3 minis per 50K, it'd be really fun. We could all sit here and say, wow, look at how big the numbers are. That's really a good time. But I don't care about that as much as I care about not having so much stress in my life where I'm blowing accounts every 3 days. That is frustrating if you're in that boat. So, I mean, listen, a lot of what you're going to see is going to be like, hey, let me just post as big in numbers as I possibly can. I mean, straight up, that's what you're going to see. Well, I mean, the way that I look at it is like, if I trade small per account and I just scale horizontally, the numbers are going to be fine anyway. I'll be happy with the numbers. And if I'm happy with the numbers, I would assume some other people would be happy with the numbers. Maybe you're like, well, if you don't make $1 million a day, then fuck you, bro. I'm not watching you. Okay. That's cool, man. Shoot big, man. I look up to that. Oh, you bulls. Come on now. Go take out that wick high of 6. What we gotta think about, by the way. What I don't want to see become a thing. That whole day's range just becoming a big, gnarly trading range. That's what we don't want. Before that happens, if it's gonna happen, let's get up and take out those stops above 6, man. Let's make that happen first. All right, here comes the open of Big Bar 21. Any adjustments that are necessary will be made bar by me. Of course, nothing on 20 that I... Question here, what do you think about exiting trades on break even? I think that everyone does it to protect their psychology because it feels good to exit at break even. I don't think it makes the math look better. I think it just makes it look different. I don't think there's an inherent disadvantage or advantage, but in a lot of ways I'd say I think there is a disadvantage because you're not really letting things breathe. Anytime I've ever tried, and this was way before prop, anytime I ever tried break-even strategies, because everyone's like, bro, you gotta cut it at break-even, because they do it and they feel good when they don't lose money. Yeah, listen, that's tremendous, but people will trade NQ and move to break-even when they're 4 points in the money and then wonder why they get stopped out all the time. If you're scared of risk, this ain't for you. I mean, again, going back to the point previously, like if you are really, really psychologically incapable of losing 10,000, even, I mean, forget about a personal account, man. Even in prop, how do you ever think you're gonna make 10,000 a month, 50,000 a month, 100,000 a month or more if you lose 10,000 and you think about it for a week and a half? Did you do what you think you were supposed to do in the moment? You're doing the best you can, right? Following some kind of methodology. I don't care if it's RAM or something else. If you did what you were supposed to do, there you go. The chips fell as they may. But that doesn't mean, like obviously, if you have $11,000 in your bank account and you're trading a personal account and you transfer 10,000 out and risk it all on one trade, that's a different story, dude. Like, we got problems. Okay, so we have a question in the chat here about context. Okay, listen, this right here, this exact scenario is one of the most nuanced topics inside of RAM, and I've talked about this with two members at length. So, you know, I'm never really sure if people just don't necessarily understand yet. It hasn't clicked yet, because like for me, to learn something new, the way that I've always learned is I want to hear you say it 100 times. 95 different ways. And eventually, on the 87th time, for example, obviously dramatic, but it'll click. So, when we're looking at this, context-wise, you can't yet But you could, in the future, maybe make that argument that the whole day is a big trading range, 100 points wide, 80 points wide, whatever. But when you have a stop hunt opportunity, at least at the high or low of day, doesn't it always kind of look like that? And we all know that stop hunts, on average, for me, are some of my best trades. So, again, I've probably talked about this at least 5 or 10 times. When you can't really clearly make the argument yet, I prefer to err on the side of stop hunt, which is why I also take profit on the stop hunt break. Usually, if the volatility is higher especially, which it's not today, it's 20 on the ATR. Because after that stop breaks, after the stops get hunted, the Wikai of 6 in this case, a lot of times what'll happen is it'll kind of wiggle up there and then just fade right back in. And then it's like, oh, okay, the whole day is going to be a trading range. That's fine. Let's trade it that way now. But I'm not going to not take the stop hunt in the meantime because I think, hey, maybe it'll turn into one. I'm only interested in what it is now, which is, for me, the opportunity to see if we can get a stop hunt. Alright, Bulls. It'd be real nice if we could play today. And also, I got to keep an eye here on 22. We'll see if I get to move my stop. We'll see if that becomes a thing here. ATR down to 20. Shoot, forgot to add an account back. So I was looking at my size. I'm like, why is my size only 7? You guys ever do that? You forget to save your NinjaTrader settings, then you're like, oh shit. The next day, you're missing accounts in the CopyTrader. Alright, Bulls. Well, you know what, Bulls? A nice little pop here would be real nice. This volatility, man. Yeah, I gotta move my stop. I will do that. All right, move my stop there beneath the wick high. I'm sorry, the wick low of 22. There's the attempted stop hunt break. Oh, goodness. Yeah, that wick up to just under 780 was like instantaneous. Instantly back down to about 75. Let's watch attempt number 2 here. Boom, 3/4 of a new ATR. I'll pull that and we'll see if that can come down and come back into the range, or if it turns into a new setup here in 4 minutes. If it does, I'll put it back on. All right. What do we get? I had a small P&L already. What do we get, like 3,000 bucks? I think we got like 3,000 bucks. All right, let's see if bar 23 can turn into another setup. Again, the concern here is that it comes back down into the range. Let's head over to gold. Yeah. YM? Holy shit. You know, the thing about YM, honestly, when the ATR is like barely higher than NQ, it's like, man, I'd rather just trade NQ, because YM starts to get real inconvenient when I have to change the size across the board. And I don't want to have to change the size across the board, man. It's a pain in the ass. to be honest. So if NQ looks equally as good, man, I'll just trade NQ. Can you guys believe it? Can you believe it? We got an honest-to-God follow-through out of a stop hunt trade. Man, are we back to November? ATR 21, baby. Feels like 61 compared to what we've had lately. All right, see that, though? Wicking on back. Yeah. Market will be back in January, don't you worry about it. At least I'm hoping. All right, minute 15 out. So, you know, anyone who is negative or likes to think as everything positive, think of everything positive as corny, you can go ahead and see yourself out, homeboy. I'd rather be corny and achieve my goals than negative and never do anything. So if that's you, it's probably ain't the spot for you. For the rest of you, I personally, this is a selfish thing, I would like to hear it. This ain't about you, this is about me. What are your goals, man, for 2026? I want to hear about it. For real. Not like, oh, I'm going to do this, You've been telling yourself the same thing for 15 years and it hasn't really happened yet. That's okay. Maybe, you know, make it this time. You're in control. But realistically, goals for 2026, man, I want to hear it. I would love to hear it. Sometimes all it takes is to say it out loud and not have someone say, ha! You think you can do that shit? Because I don't care what you say, man. You're not going to get that out of me. Lark! To put out 4 more books! Love it, big dog. Stratted wants to buy a house. Well, get it done, man. I love it. Consistent payouts, 10K a month, then scale up. More than doable, Eric. More than doable, man. You can do that. Two payouts out of the same account. 100%. You know, honestly, guys, honestly, those of you guys who are saying, you know, pass an eval, get my first payout, shoot bigger, dude. You gotta shoot way bigger. You're worth more than a $2,000 payout, I promise you that. Way more. Even if it feels impossible, I promise you that. Brad wants to move to Europe, retire in 2026 at 41 years old. Fucking get it done, dude. Levi, hoping to get my first payout this year. Maybe scale up, hit a 6-figure year. Dude. Let me just tell you something from personal experience. I understand that this is going to be really hard to internalize if you've never had a 6-figure year. Yet. I get it. I know. But let me just tell you something that you're going to regret 5 or 10 years from now, maybe even 2 years from now, maybe 6 months from now, if you really get after it. I'm telling you, I promise you, you're gonna regret being like, I don't know, dude, I think maybe I can do 6 figures in a year. I promise you, you're gonna be pissed. In 5 or 10 years, you're like, why was I such a bitch? You can do that, dude. You can do that. That's just fine. All you guys here, a 6-figure year, I want you to shift that and say, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just say a 6-figure month. We can do that. We can get that done. Why can't we get that done? Is anyone who has ever done that ever, which is a lot of people, by the way, are they just better than me? I don't believe that shit. No. You can do a 6-figure year. Okay, it's just a matter of getting it done in 2026, but I don't think you should aim for that. Aim for a 6-figure month. Don't get into the gambly mentality like, oh, I'm only going to get there if I do irresponsible things. That's not true. All right, 24. All right, 24. Come on now. They say love the mentality, but death feels impossible as of right now, but we'll get there one day, little by little. Listen, I don't know how else. I know, I don't know how to fix this for you guys as far as mentality-wise, because I just had to brute force it. My only answer is just brute force it. You're going to feel like an idiot for a little while. I promise you that. If you're like 6-figure a month, I've never even made 10K in a month. You're going to feel really stupid. And that's okay. There's something to it. There is a reality. I know it doesn't necessarily feel like it sometimes, but there is a reality to inertia of focusing on a goal, even if you don't know how to get there. Because eventually it's like, okay, you try this, it doesn't work. You try this, it doesn't work. You're just narrowing it down until you find something that is scalable. You get a little bit of traction. All of a sudden you blow past your old goal. You're like, Jesus, I'm glad I didn't set my ceiling there. Because you're not, you know, I think the problem is not that you're looking at 10,000 in a month as such an impossible amount to make. Even 100,000 in a month, it's not such an impossible amount to make at all. Okay, there's a lot of money in the world, right? Like, I don't want to be that guy, but like, there's a lot of money in the world. You know what? Fuck it, I will be that guy. There's so much. What, you don't deserve even a small piece that makes you quote unquote like rich wherever you live in the country or the world? But you do get closer, I think, the longer you have your sights set on something bigger. And once you get through that like silly feeling, which is gonna come, you're like, I feel like a real dumbass. I don't really want to tell anybody that I'm trying to do this. But slowly, as you continue to try to do the thing that makes you feel so stupid, I mean, it's not like voodoo magic. You're going to become a slightly different human being. And maybe that new human being is more capable, correct? Wouldn't you agree? And then you're closer. And then as you get closer, all of a sudden you're like, oh, 10K month. Again, shit, really glad I didn't set that as the ceiling. A part of me says I need to think bigger, while the other part of me feels like I'm making a big ask, but I can't help but get pumped. A big ask? You know what a big ask would be? A big ask would be to say, I want 100 million, and then you don't do anything. That would be a big, unreasonable ask. And you know how many people actually do that? It's fucking crazy. There's so many people in the world who just say, oh man, you see that son of a bitch who won $1 billion on Powerball or whatever? Nobody needs that much money. What an asshole. He should split it with me. It's like, yeah, like you can sit on your bar stool and continue to talk that way. I'll see you in 40 years. Oh, how ridiculous. Guys, there's so many people like this. I wish they would just have an ounce of faith in their own ability. It's very sad. I hate to see it. I don't think it's a big ask to say I would, you know, it would make our life much lower stress, which is really the point. If I could do like 30, 50, 100 or more thousand a month, that would be really, really good for my family. And I think a lot of you guys know, because I'm sure a lot of you guys have had better months than others, right? Most of you probably have. You start to realize really quick that life is really expensive. All right, I'm waiting on 26, by the way. Big reversal like this, I'm going to need one more bar, 26. We'll see if it leaves room to the 20 EMA. 440 out. Life is really expensive, you start to realize, and you're like, holy shit. 10,000 a month, I thought that I'd be balling out at 10K a month. I can barely afford anything at 10K a month. That's the reality. especially now. At least in the States. Brad says, guys, I'm up 2,200 today trading one mini. I've traded futures for 4 months. Traded options for 11 years. 100K months will come for you. I had a $700,000 month in 2021. Yeah, I mean, listen, the biggest issue I think with so many people have is when you're raised, probably around the world, but I can only speak really on in the States. And I suppose it depends on who raises you, of course. But many of us were raised to assume that, you know, 100,000 a year, at least when we were kids, right, is like the ceiling. And anyone who makes 250 is rich as fuck. Which isn't, we know that's not true. Again, life is very, very expensive. Oh shit, I backed, or, you know, whoever. Your daughter or your son or your husband or wife or your mom or dad backed your car into a post. Now the mirror's busted off. That'll be $3,400. It's like, Jesus. You need way more than you think. Okay, here's the reality. You need way more than you think just to be cozy, comfy. On the other side of that, you're way more capable than you think, I promise, to get to that number. And if you're like, ha, that's never gonna happen, get the fuck out of here, dude. I don't want you here. For real. Because you're wrong. I'm right. Promise you that. We're talking about you. You're wrong about you. I'm telling you you can do it, and you're telling me you can't. This ain't for you. All right, 26. Minute 25 out. I'm in the middle of the range there on gold, though it is relatively interesting. I actually don't mind the way this looks. All right. I'm on YM here. I'll keep an eye on YM. NQ's kind of coming right into the 20 EMA big outsized bar, so I gotta hold off on NQ for now until that cleans itself up. But YM here is looking pretty damn reasonable. Let's see. I need to see 26 here close beneath, ideally beneath the wick low of 18. That would be great. See it coming right into the 20 EMA. I guess it's not so outsized. All right, let's take a look. Oops. Copy trader engage. Stop limit sell out. Son of a error. That's all right. All right, moving on. You see that? It opened. YM is less liquid, we'll call it. Okay. The spreads are a little wider. It's a more expensive instrument as far as price. So it can make jumps. So I place my stop limit sell. It pops through, obviously. That's me placing a stop limit sell above the market at that exact moment, which leads to an error message, and that's all right. Happens sometimes. We've had that happen plenty of times on NQ as well. All right, back to NQ, man. Let's see what 27 gives us here. Yeah, you see this here on gold. 26 didn't even really close very clean. You would never have gotten a fill anyway, even if you tried to take the open of 27 to the short side. But when you start getting, you know, back into kind of the middle of this big range, even if you want to call this a soft bear channel, what's interesting about this is, again, this is gold, this is GC. Oh, soft bear channel, right? Well, I mean, if I started by drawing that, you'd probably also believe that that's the case, right? Because it looks about right. So when that's the case, you gotta think twice. And really make sure the context is something you're interested in. And you know, that's the side of RAM that I think a lot of people don't, not that exactly, but that side in general, the nuance side, the subjective side, is the part that I think a lot of people kind of ignore because they want rules, and I get it, everybody wants rules, and I think, to be fair, RAM is super rule-driven and relatively simple to understand once you get, you know, the concepts of context and really the setups and the price action methodology. But you can't look at just RAM as the thing because every human is going to make different decisions. That's okay. But there is a line where I'd say that's no longer really a RAM trade. Okay? If I assess the context as one thing when it could be another, and you assess it as the other thing, and we both take trades, I would not say either of us were outside the context of RAM unless it was super, super obviously not the case that there should be a RAM trade being put on right there. Okay, now if this was just a straight up rules-based strategy, that would be great. I would love that. Believe me, if anybody wants just rules and no nuance, I would love that. That'd be great. You can't have that, okay? What would happen if we had a strategy that was only rules? It was very simple. It was only rules-based. Well, who's on the other side of your trade? At least in the market, right? If you're like trading a personal account, stuff like that. Who's on the other side of it? Almost every time, an institution. And if you do one thing and it works a very specific percentage of the time because it's super rules driven and there's no context, no nuance, there's no subjective nature to it at all, don't you think the institution's going to realize pretty damn quick that, hey, whenever we do the opposite of this trade that sets up, we lose money? So let's make adjustments. And all of a sudden, those setups stop coming as frequently. or you don't get fills, etc., or no follow-through, etc. So the nuance and context and subjective nature side of RAM, which is a corner of it that is necessary. Again, the rules, man, are super straightforward. I think very simple to understand. This was all made so that I would stop being as confused as I can. I don't like being confused. I like clear rules, but there has to be that other side. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to at least consistently make money. It wouldn't happen. Because it would all dry up super fast if it was just all rules-based. But the bright side is the nuance and the subjective nature, it all falls within the rules-based side, which I think makes it much simpler to learn, even if you're new. Which honestly, I mean, making it easy to learn, since I built this all for myself, it wasn't really the intention. It just kind of ended up that way, which I like a lot, obviously. It should be simple, repeatable, but nuanced. Alright, so of course I'm on NQ right now. 3 minutes out here on the 5-minute chart. ATR is 18. Let's see if 28 can give us a reasonable close. Check out gold. Right into a sideways trading range. Nothing on gold. ES looking similar. Yeah, similar to NQ, so we'll stick on NQ. YM. Nothing really on YM right now. So back to NQ here, and we'll stick here. By the way, Apex is 90% off. Link is in the chat. Single day pass with code BIG, baby, B-I-G. Can't beat 90%. Evals are less than 20 bucks. That's kind of nuts. Come on, 28. Go until January 6th. But obviously, I think when people try to cram it all on the last day, probably not your best bet. All right, we're minute 5 out here. Let's see if bar 28 can give me something worth taking. ATR is 19. All right, gotta see a close here out of bar 28. Beneath the wick low of 27. See if the bears can give that to us. And if they do, I will have a stop limit sell for the bears, man. 10 seconds out. Copy trader is indeed engaged. Stop limit sell is ready. Come on, bears. Not there. Closing inside the wick low of 27. No trade. Next bar. There you go. 20, what is that, 29? See what 29 brings. $340 out here. Come on, 29. All right. Beauty. Let's see. Can we get a reasonable setup here? I'm on NQ right now. 2 minutes. All right. 27 seconds out. You're on bar 29. Gotta go ahead and get that copy trader engaged. 18 seconds. Go ahead and get my stop limit sell ready here. About 10 seconds out. All right. Come on, Bears. Hold it down. Hold it down. Hold it down. Oh, my goodness. What a big, ugly wick. Last second. Insecure Bears. All right. Next bar. See what 30 brings. Such insecurity out of the Bears there. All right. Don't you go anywhere, baby. 2 minutes. Be right back. All right, welcome back. So you better believe it, I'm sitting here, well, I'm actually out there, watching bar 30. Insecure Bears. See that closing kind of like right at the wick low at 29. Can't do it, so I gotta watch 31. Let's see if 31 can do it to us. Ooh, gold. I gotta watch NQ, man. 31 is too potentially good. Though ATR could be a whole lot better. ATR 17 here, man. Let's see if 31 gives me a setup. Now, if you're sitting there wondering, you're like, should I have taken bar 30? You know, if you did, it's okay. It's just it kind of closed right at. Maybe it closed like a tick beneath the wick low of 29. A little insecure there. If you had taken it, I wouldn't be mad at you. But that was one of those on the fence kind of setups here. And popping back and forth between NQ and gold. Gotta watch NQ. Even though ATR could be a lot better. 17, 240 out. I'm all 31. Two minutes. Oh man, I gotta watch both. I gotta watch NQ, I gotta watch gold. When you're in this situation, just look back and forth. And whichever one's looking more promising with, I'd say, about 20 seconds out, you gotta go with that one. Or you can have them both pulled up, obviously. But I know that some people will make mistakes, like they'll enter on the wrong instrument. So, for the sake of avoiding mistakes, I would say make your decision with at least 10 or 20 seconds to go until the rollover. Yeah, gold is pulling back. You see that? NQ's looking a little more promising here. So, ATR is not great, about 17.5. Yeah, I'm on NQ. I'm on NQ! Pop over to the execution screen. Go ahead and get that copy trader engaged. 20 seconds. Let's see. The Bears can give me a reasonable clean close. Get my stop limit sell ready. ATR 17. Bar is within reason as far as size. I'm going to give it 15 seconds. I don't like the size of that wick, but it deserves at least 15 seconds. And if it doesn't fill me here in the next 7 seconds, I got to pull it. Come on, Bears. Nope, no fill, no trade. Got to pull it. All right. Next bar here. Let's see what we get. Now watch, did I miss the most beautiful setup of all time on gold? No. There's nothing. What did ES look like on that trade? Even more wick. That's why I'm looking like YM is reasonable here. Potential stop hunt here in the near future of the wick low of 1 on YM, though of course it would have to set up. So back to NQ. Wick low of bar 4 would be the stop hunt here on NQ, though it is, what, 40, 45 points away? If you guys haven't yet, by the way, please hit that like button, man. I appreciate you doing it. You know I gotta do the YouTube thing. And remind you to hit the like button. Or the dislike button, baby! That's what you won't hear. But they do the same thing. So I appreciate you leaving your fair assessment. Come on, bar 32. No, I didn't trade silver. Well, did I? No. No, I don't think I've traded silver ever on stream, to be honest. Not that I'm against it, of course. All right, we're minute 10 out here from the close of 32. All right. All right, there's the open of bar 33. Alright, gold doing a whole lot of nothing right now. We might see that turn into a soft bull channel. But, straight up, right now, there's still a lot of risk of that being just a big trading range. YM actually looking reasonably interesting, but ATR is down to 26, so that would be a pretty small trade, but of course I'm not against small trades. Well, there's silver, for those of you guys wondering. Alright, well, I guess we should look at YM, right? Yeah, I suppose we should. Been on this, about 57 seconds out. All right. Pop on over to the execution screen. And C, switch my copier over to YM. There we are. And let's just see if we can get a half reasonable close here. Wait for that next bar to open. I'll place that and see if we can get a fill. See if we can get a failure to the short side on YM. I'm going to give that just about 15 seconds just because the liquidity here is not, you know, not great. All right, I'll pull it. No fill, no trade. All right, back to NQ. See this? See how this data takes like a year to load on YM? Yeah, and volume issue. Yeah, YM's kind of last on the list. Especially this time of day for that reason. Alright, there you go, NQ. Let's see if we can get a reasonable close. 344. Out until we get the close of bar 34. And we'll see what we end up with here. Oh, you bears! We may just see that turn into a single bar sideways trading range. Gold still trying to turn into a soft bull channel, by the way. Can't quite do it yet. I'll see what's up with NQ. All right, so as far as hours here, market hours, tomorrow is, well, you know, tomorrow's a regular day, sort of. Regular close. And then, of course, New Year's Day stays closed. And then we have the regular open on New Year's Day in the evening. So tomorrow's stream will be normal. Thursday's stream, obviously the market will be closed. There will be no stream on Thursday. And then Friday will be normal. Okay, Friday's kind of like the first day of the rest of the year, where the market doesn't really have an excuse other than it's a Friday after a holiday. Okay, but tomorrow's stream, normal. Thursday, no stream, market's closed. Friday, normal stream. And then the following Monday, so this coming Monday, at that point, the market really doesn't have an excuse. So hopefully we'll see the market kind of start to slowly but surely, ideally quickly, return to normal as far as volatility. It'd be great. So we can start the year off strong, ideally. Yeah, Roy, New York Open. New York Open. That will be what's up for 2026. All right, so gold, a couple of arguments here. And this is GC if you want to follow along. You could make both of these arguments. Okay, so on the close here of 35, the lower it gets, the more likely I am. Well, actually, you know what I'd prefer to see? I'd prefer to see it close like right here. We get an open on 36. This is 35. On 36, come down, close like in this region. Then I would short gold using a stop limit sell. YM here. Yeah, nothing on YM. Ah, Christian. You're on the train, big dog. Yes, sir. Man, cold beverages that are meant to be hot are a thing of the past. I should be a salesman for Ember. Driving 2 hours. Oh. All right, minute 10 out here. Till the close, a big bar 35. All right, here in the chat, they say, my tolerance to negative P&L in a trade right now is very low. Since I only have $34 more to pass this eval, anybody else get this way? Listen, size down. Size down. It is so much easier and lower stress when you're close to passing to size down into the finish line. If you traded 3 micros to get, if you traded 3 minis to get to the point you're at in your eval, there is no reason that you need to trade even close to as big to get over the finish line. You guys know my thoughts on evals, right? I've talked about this probably about 75 times now. You don't want to spend weeks in there if you have positive expected value. That's a bad use of time. Opportunity cost, right? So I think it makes the most sense to be brutal about your time investment with evals. Trade sort of large, a few minis in the beginning. And then as you make progress, your time commitment to that eval or that group of evals has now gone up, correct? So what do you want to do as your time commitment to the evals increases? We're worried about time here, not like the cost of the eval necessarily, though, of course, you know, it does cost money, but we're more worried about the time. As your time investment to the eval increases, you want to increase the probability that you pass them, which means size down into the finish line. So I'll trade, let's say, a 50K eval. I might trade 2 or 3 or 4 minis. Once I get about halfway, 2/3, 3/4 of the way, I start to back off. As you get really close, I'm trading micros, increasing the probability that I get over the finish line. Because I've now invested more time and I'm concerned about losing that time investment. More than just losing the eval, right? Alright, ATR here on NQ is dipping to 15. Let's look at gold. ATR on gold is still pretty damn good, 5.7, but... do we even look at silver? Alright, so there's 200 ticks. Let's see if my math is right. There's 200 ticks at 25 bucks a tick on silver. So yeah, silver's 5 grand a point. ATR right now is a third of a point. 1666 ATR dollar risk. ATR on NQ is 20 bucks a point. So the dollar amount risk, I think my math is right, the dollar amount risk on silver right now is 5x. 5.5x what it is on NQ. Man, volatility here on NQ is dying. ATR down to 14. ATR on gold is about 5. So, volatility dollar amount risk here on gold is maybe a little less than double what it is currently on NQ. And by the way, the way that I'm getting that, I need to come up with a name for that. The way that I'm getting that number is you take the current ATR, I'm doing it on a 5-minute chart, and you multiply that ATR by the dollar amount per point. And that kind of gives you an equally weighted, like, okay, if I did one contract and made or lost 1 ATR, just to kind of compare them. How many dollars is that? Gives you a decent idea of what you're looking at as far as volatility comparison, dollar-wise across instruments. I am. Moving with a little more heat. Still, I mean, you know, it's kind of last on the list. YM is, as far as just because that volume. But you know, man, if it's there, it's there. All right, well, we're about a minute 25 out. Most interesting thing right now is YM, so I suppose we'll keep an eye on it, huh? Right, range here on this bar. Still within reason here. I do not want to see this bar grow much more. Alright, I'm going to get copy trader engaged. Don't want to see that grow much more. 13 seconds out. See how this closes. There you go. Opens up quick. That next bar looks like volume's a little higher. See if we can get a fill here. $20 seconds, no fill, no trade. Gotta pull it. Gotta pull it. All right, back to NQ. Let's see if NQ can give us a curl back upside here and put in a nice bull body. 2 consecutive bull bodies. Yeah, NQ's looking better here. Starting to pick back up a little bit. I'd like to see that ATR get back above 20. Come on, Bulls. Step in and get something done. $90 seconds out here. From the close of bar 38. Not looking too promising here on NQ, man. Kind of slow. Gold. There's so much of an argument on gold for just a big giant trading range. Gotta be careful. Go big, man. Trade 10 contracts on silver. Well, I guess NQ it is, huh? Well, here comes the rollover. Pretty small bar. See if we can get fill. That's such little risk. Gotta put it on. Whoops! There you go. There's the execution screen. Alright, bulls! See if we can get a little push. ATR here on NQ13. Little guy here. Just a little guy. There you go, bulls. Alright, bulls. Giving us a reasonable pop. Do a little more than that, man. Come on now. Alright, bulls. Just fall through, pop this thing. 40 points. Well, they popped through. What, 4.5 points? That wasn't enough. Alright, cut it. Little guy. Little guy. Alright. Till 39 closes up here. YM pulling in. Gold? Oops, that's a yes. Gold? Have an outsized bar there. Alright, well. Guess we'll see if this turns into a failed curl or a softball channel. Alright. Gotta refill. Be right back. All right, welcome back. Miss nothing here on NQ. Check out gold. Yeah, I mean, look, the thing with... It's not like it's so unreasonable, right? You could also make this argument here, which kind of renders this one useless. Well, here. Yeah, it's gonna close inside the wick low of 39 anyway. Figured it might, so... I guess we wait on bar 41, huh? NQ kind of back to doing not much. All right, 3 minutes out. Well, I suppose we'll see if 41 gives us another little something. You know, as far as quality, what would it be? B, B minus. But I take B, B minus. Though I prefer, if I'm going to take B, B minus, it's better be kind of a small signal bar. That risk a little tighter, which I'm cool with. Let's see if it can actually clear that 20 EMA within reason. Two minutes. Some bull insecurity there. All right, bulls. See if you got it in you. Go ahead and place that on the open of 42. Just see if we get a fill. It's reasonable. You're on NQ. Small bar. Low ATR. 13 on the ATR. Give it 5 more seconds. See if we can get a fill. That got upgraded to maybe like a B plus-ish with that clean 41. Definitely not A minus or A though. Obviously inside of this soft bull channel. All right, no fill, no trade. Pull it. Pull it, pull it. All right, guys, well, I'll tell you what. Decent, kind of slow little green day here. I'm going to go hit lunch, and we shall see what the afternoon brings, I suppose. I will see you all tomorrow morning. I expect that you will be here trading, ideally. And then, again, no stream Thursday, Friday, back at it. And then the coming Monday, this next Monday, the market's out of excuses. All right. All right, guys. Hey, reminder. Take Profit Traders 40% off, no activation fee with code BIG. B-I-G. That's a very good deal at Take Profit Trader. But Apex, if you're with them, man, it's 90% off single day pass with the same code BIG. B-I-G. All right, guys. Oh, 2 members. I will see you in 2 hours for the live training. All right, guys? See you this afternoon. All right, have a good day.